What's up, guys? How's it crack-a-lackin'? Welcome back to making Newcrest magical once again, with a new series on my channel that I'm calling Sho Challenges, where I challenge myself to do weird and wacky things within games, just for your entertainment. Today we're heading back into character creation, and we're making the Hogwarts teachers. If you've missed any of my previous videos in this series, I will link them in the description below, and I highly recommend you go and watch them before you watch this video, just to see where we're up to. In preparation for building Hogwarts itself, I needed at least some teachers to live in the castle. Obviously, I couldn't make every member of staff at Hogwarts, but I needed at least the head teacher and the head of houses. So I made Dumbledore, McGonagall, Snape, Sprout and Flitwick. This does mean when it comes to building Hogwarts, I will have to pay attention to the common areas of each house, but before that, I need to focus on the teachers who are actually going to live there. So, without further ado, let's get creating. Starting out with the headmaster himself, Albus Dumbledore. I put his aspiration into knowledge, and his traits I couldn't quite decide on, but eventually gave him good, loyal and bookworm. I've always thought of Albus as a very reserved character within the films. I've never really fully connected with his character. I didn't really know what traits to add into him, so if you would have given him different traits, let me know. I got pretty disappointed when it came to selecting his beard, because none of them were quite long enough to do the sim justice. It felt like no matter what I did, it wouldn't really look like Dumbledore because of the fail of this. Base game sims, why do we not have a long beard option? I found a few choices for his hair, so at least that was a win. But I also couldn't find his half-moon spectacles, so I had to use these slightly oval ones instead. When looking for the outfits, there wasn't many times that we see Dumbledore without his long wizard dress kind of thing. I didn't really know what it was called, so I opted for a version of this all-in-one outfit. Albus doesn't seem to really wear anything else. Not for formal, not for everyday, not really for sleepwear either, as far as I know. So a different colour for each outfit only just seemed fitting. The only difference I added was to try and replicate his hat, but the closest thing I could get was this one, which really didn't go with the whole aesthetic, but I needed something to break it all up. Dumbledore in general turned out to be a little bit of a fail, because the base game sims didn't really give much of an option to any of the outfits. So I don't think the magic of Dumbledore really came through, only being limited to base game items. After Dumbledore, I turned my attention to my own head of house, Professor Sprout. After putting her aspiration into nature and giving her the traits of loves outdoors, good, and after struggling for a little bit choosing neat, I was ready to make the head of Hufflepuff House. Being a Hufflepuff myself, I knew I wanted to try my best for this sim, but I very quickly realised that within the films, we don't see much of Professor Sprout in general. The only thing we see with Sprout is either her in her orangey brown gardening stuff with the gloves, which I had chose for every day, but I couldn't really get the right hat, so this brown hat had to do instead, which I opted for each outfit category apart from sleep and swim. I chose an all-in-one jumpsuit with gloves for the majority of the categories. For cold weather, I found an outfit from the Battle of Hogwarts with this check shirt. It wasn't perfect, but I found this to be the best thing to create this look, and I also changed the colour of the hat too. To switch it up slightly, I used the same jumpsuit but selected this yellow coloured one for party wear to link into the house colours. Similar to Dumbledore and also Flitwick, who we'll start to make in just a second, we don't really see much of the outfit choice or difference within characters. Within the films, Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff, as well as the house heads, sort of take a back seat to Slytherin and Gryffindor, so creative liberties had to be taken with Sprout and Flitwick too. After making Professor Sprout, I worked on everyone's grumpy emo kid, Professor Snape. I put his aspiration into romance to link with his forever love for Lily, and his traits being self-assured, genius and loner. Once again, I got pretty stuck on what traits I should put in for Snape, as most of the traits didn't really seem to scream Snape. He's kind of an enigma, at least for me in the first few films. So I want to know what traits you would have given him in this instance. Bear in mind, I'm going solely from film versions, so it's pretty hard to grasp. Giving him his longish jet black hair and his forever judging looking face, I was onto outfits. Alan Rickman as an actor is one of my all-time favourites, and I honestly think that no other actor could do the justice of Snape the way that he does. The everyday outfit category made me laugh yet again, because because, similar to the Malfoys, it seemed like the only outfit that really fit Snape was the one from the costume section. Snape always seemed to be sporting high necks and long sleeves, so I wanted to try and make that so in each of the outfits. If I couldn't find the high necks, I really wanted to get the long sleeves in, and adding the tattoo on his arm meant I had something to work with. His long sleeves seemed to be a constant hiding place for his dark mark tattoo on his arm, which he seems to regret the more we get to know Snape. Snape in general seems to be a character which raises the most eyebrows, but especially in the later films, it feels like it all just fits into place why he is the way he is. His deep love for Lily, even after her death, drives him to act in the way that he does, and seeing his enemy once again come alive within his son gives him the motivation to honestly treat Harry horribly. For the majority of the outfit choices, I went for all black and again with high necks and long sleeves. Snape is never really seen wearing anything different, so although I wanted some kind of variation, there wasn't really much within the base game that I could work with. Granted, some options I chose don't really scream Severus, but the main theme of high necks and long sleeves still went strong. Oh, and also, a lot of black. Next was Professor Flitwick, head of Ravenclaw, and apologies to all the Ravenclaws out there, but your head of house was kinda done dirty here. Sims in general don't have an option to edit the height of Sims in character creation, so all in all, no matter what I did, this Sim wouldn't have been Phileas Flitwick, so let's just pretend that he's smaller than the rest of the teachers, okay? Although Sims have come miles within the last few years by adding scars, stretch marks and vitiligo options, height is still not a thing we can really edit. So because of this, once again, no matter what I did, this Sim was not going to be Phileas Flitwick. There is also some confusion around Flitwick's character within the films. The first few films he's seen as an old, balding man with a big grey beard, but as we progress into the later films, he seems to be aging backwards because we see him more like this. I've never really known why this is a thing, or whether it's just talked up to simple movie mistakes, but I decided to go from the younger and later version of Flitwick to base my Sim from. Being happy with the hair and moustache choice, I started looking for outfit inspo, which, to my own surprise, and Ravenclaw in general taking a backseat within the films, I didn't really have much to go from. What I did find was Flitwick wears a bunch of suits and waistcoats, which I went with, but with the limitations I've given myself, so I went with multiple options of suits instead. I did try to recreate this lighter version, but with little success, so I ended up taking inspiration from it, instead of trying to recreate it altogether. To mix it up slightly and to link into Ravenclaw House, I opted for a smart looking blue jacket for cold weather. Although it isn't a suit, and it probably doesn't really scream Flitwick, it still looked pretty smart to me, and it's in Ravenclaw blue, so I allowed it. Then I went into aspiration and traits, which once again I found pretty hard, but opted for an aspiration into knowledge. Even from going from the books, I don't think we really know Head of Ravenclaw House as a character, so any Ravenclaws out there with more information, please let me know. What have I missed here? On to the last Sim, Minerva McGonagall. I knew I had to do the Legend of Maggie Smith justice, even with the limitations I had. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get her character completely right, mainly because of the big witch's hat that she seems to sport a lot of the time, but with everything else, I had to at least try. Putting her aspiration into knowledge once again, and her traits being good, genius and loyal, I got to work. I opted for the standard bun that she always seems to sport throughout the films, and immediately ran into my first issue. McGonagall and Dumbledore seem to have similar, long, big cloak looking things as a style choice, which I couldn't do much with due to Sims base game limitations. But I also didn't want to give McGonagall the same outfits as Dumbledore. I noticed a fair few of her outfits contain dark colours and long sleeves, a little like Snape. So, seeing this, I tried to recreate it the best I could. The best I could do with every day was this all black outfit, which honestly was underwhelming to say the least. But I also paid homage to her hat with the feathers in the only base game option have feathers. Sorry McGonagall, I'm trying, I promise. For sleepwear, I remembered this outfit, and I was pleasantly surprised that I could recreate it into this. Once again, not perfect, but what outfits up until now have been. I wanted to include some red in one of her outfit categories to tie in being head of house for Gryffindor, but it didn't really strike the right balance between McGonagall's style and the right type of red. So all in all, I had to chalk this one up to a little bit of a fail as well. But just like that, the Hogwarts teachers are made. Let me know if you would have done anything different while making these characters. And, did I forget anything? Let me know in the comments below. I always want to know what you guys think. Here we have Dumbledore, Sprout, Snape, Flitwick and McGonagall. So taking the perfect, almost family photo, I was ready to throw them into the biggest lot in Newcrest, ready for my monster of a task of building Hogwarts. Who or what will I make next? Let's see if you can guess. For now though, thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!